in the last Mission Club, I'll text Mike.
Thomas jumped in with a broken foot. He finished.
Well, he's gonna be in a T-scope race and locked in full extension.
How bad do you want it?
6 o'clock, call this meeting to order.
Sure, going.
Thank you, Joyce. Rise to the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Also going to read our mission statement. In partnership with the communities, the mission of the Oakland and Fulton School District is to educate individuals in an environment of trust and respect so they become self-directed, responsible lifelong learners. Roll call. All board members are present, as well as Superintendent Hunstead. Any changes to, and yes, thank you for all for being here tonight. And do any changes to the agenda?
We do not, just from the original, we just had a few more things in my report.
Okay, do we have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Nicole, is there a second? I got Micah over here. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Public comments, rebel recognition? No. Any rebel recognition? I know the Legion team, they're going on to state.
Yeah.
This is at 14U softball, last tournament, girls did well, went 4-2, and I think all summer activities are wrapping up. And I think parents are kind of excited about that.
I think 13U also going to state.
Oh, for baseball? Oh, good for them. That's awesome. Yeah. That baseball is a little more of a hard run than softball. We get days off at least. You guys are playing for weeks straight, so. All right, let's move on to reports then. 6.1, Jason, you're up. Jason McCoy is our giving our PCN report. So welcome.
Hello. So more of a request than a report. I'm hoping to come back next month with the actual official report. We're getting all our data in and putting that all together. I just finished our year-end report. It took all of last week. So as your report, that's big. Our PCN grant has been going really well. We just wrapped up year 2 of year 5. For this specifically, I don't know, hopefully you've seen this on some of our students, but we've proudly talking about most of our students aren't using vapes, alcohol, or marijuana. And just as a quick teaser for what we'll bring you next time, when we got this grant, our 11th graders were vaping at 46%. In 2022, our high school students were vaping at 24%. As of our PCN surveys that we did this year, our high school and middle school combined vape use rate of not using is 93%. So that means only 7% of our students are actually vaping. So it's working. So just as a teaser for next year, here's what I'm here to ask you. We, as part of our grant, for this coming year, year 3, 4, and 5, we will be doing a Youth Leadership Academy. It's an exciting event that our students, 10 of our students that are involved in our Rise Club, get to come with us, and it'll be in Brainerd. We'll be at the Arrowwood Lodge. We'll have lots of adult sponsorship to make sure that everybody makes their P's and Q's. We'll be bringing in Craig Hillier as a main speaker. If any of you, I don't know if any of you heard from your students or were able to make it, we had him here this last year as a speaker for our school. Did a great job. And so our grant will pay for everything. We'll pay to get everybody there. We'll pay for the staff that come, substitutes for the staff that come with us, and for all of our students' needs while they're there. So I'm just here to ask you to approve us to be able to move forward with making that happen for the students.
You said how many students would
10.
go? 10?
Yeah.
Okay.
It'll probably end up being 8 high school students and 2 of our middle schoolers to kind of give them a leadership opportunity to be able to be with the high school students and see it come. Our high school Rise Club really wants to step into some mentorship roles, so I thought that was really cool.
Awesome.
It is a part of our, tonight, it's in our board packet to approve that or at least discuss that resolution.
Okay. Any other questions for Jason? When would you go to Brainerd?
Oh, that's really important, November 16th and 17th. So we worked with Katie to make sure that we were going on days when there wasn't something that other events would be happening. And the students would come home on a Friday so that we get the weekend to be able to rest afterwards and not go right back to class. So,
Awesome, thank you so much for being here, appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, 6.2, Kitty Oman, activity report, please.
All right, I just handed out a document that helps me stay on track here. So I did the coach's handbook, although that's not coming your way yet, I think that's August. I just wanted to highlight a few things because I was here on some changes that we're making, because we ran into some things this year and it wasn't part of the handbook, so then it makes it kind of difficult to know what to do, and not offend anyone or whatever. So it's basically for the use of the coach bus and for overnight trips. So for state tournaments, that's kind of a given. Like, we're gonna have a coach bus and we're gonna stay overnight if the tournament requires it. But for section travel, so the track team this year played in Roseau, and they had to be there at, like, coaches they had meetings basically starting at 8 a.m. Well, past practice has been, we don't stay overnight, and then we got rid of the coach bus company doesn't work with us anymore, so we haven't been using coach buses for section travel. So now they stayed in a hotel because it was the right thing to do. So now we did put in just the criteria, and I'll let you read that, I don't need to go over it. C, D, and E are supposed to be indented, so doesn't really, so that makes sense for you. But then also the other big change to the coach's handbook is I think the biggest, I would say the biggest complaint maybe that I get on coaches would be the communication aspect. And so some coaches already have a communication app that they use as a way to communicate with parents and students, but some just rely on their kid to tell their parent everything, and we just know that doesn't work either. So all coaches 7 through 12 are going to have a communication app. It will be up to the students and parents to make sure they sign up, and so they're a part of it. But that will just be an easy way for them to communicate. So those were really the biggest changes with the coach's activity handbook that you'll see coming in August. As far as activities, starting up here in only a few weeks, we're looking for a middle school cross-country coach. Mr. Anderson was checking with someone, and I haven't heard back on that. So that's the only coaching vacancy that we have right now for fall activities. You probably got, if you're a parent here, we did send a newsletter out with registration information on all the fall activities, and then we had a physical blitz, which was something we kind of did last year a little bit, and then we really hit it hard this year. And the first day was actually today, with Legacy Chiropractic. It was completely booked, so I haven't heard from Dr. Schmidt if it went well, but it's really nice. He does a big discount, $65 for students to go get their physicals. So kind of a good event for our students. Meetings on August 7th, we'll do the fall parent athlete meeting again, and that's really just a time for me to go over expectations. Unfortunately, some of our 3-sport athletes and that are juniors and seniors have heard this now 3 times just last year, but it is just good updates, and I don't make it mandatory, but I really try to say that they should come. And then after I meet with them, they always go and they meet with their coaches, and so that's a time for coaches to go over their handbook and all things like that with the students. Looking ahead, just a change is we are going to have a baseball shot clock operator at all home games this year, so that'll be an additional game worker just at every single home game, a requirement by the Minnesota State High School League. Team meals, so in working with Tracy, who is awesome because I feel like she does most of this work, we started providing a team meal after games in the gym. So we don't do this for football games. We did do it for, baseball, softball, track, the outdoor games, but if teams are traveling more than 2 hours to go home, we provide them a team meal after the game. And they just kind of come and they sit right around here. And it's just something so they're not stopping at PetroServe on their way out of town, which is just nothing good for them. So I got a lot of thank you notes this year, and it's kind of something too where it's like we want them to come to our facility. We want them to like DGF. So
Does that include volleyball in the fall?
I think we did it at the end of volleyball season because we kind of started talking about it, and so we started it at the end of volleyball season, did it for winter sports, and now we started.
we gonna do for football this year?
We don't do it for football typically because it's outside, first of all, and a lot, like I know when we go places, the parents are awesome about giving them a meal and doing all that. I think it would be more tricky to do it all outside and they come in and then they go back out. And, yeah, not that we couldn't, but yeah. Equipment needs and updates. So a big thing this year was we had to get all new middle school helmets as they all, every single one of them were out of service and just don't want to take the risk with using an expired helmet. So we were able to work that in. Now we do have them on a uniform rotation, so we won't have to buy 30-some helmets at one time. And then middle school equipment, we are looking for some locked storage things for over in Dilworth, just because our balls are going missing a lot over there. And it's been construction too and stuff like that. It's hard to find a spot to put them. But I have found some locking cages for our basketballs and volleyballs. But those are really the two big things that we had to get this year. Baseball and softball field update. So through capital outlay, we were able to put money aside for new fencing for baseball, JV baseball and JV softball fields. If you've been there, which I'm sure all of you probably have, it's just not safe because it's a very low fence. So someone's gonna get a line drive. If they haven't, I haven't heard of one, but to the face at some point. So we got approved for to do a higher fence there. Well, then in talking to some of our clubs, they have actually found donations to help out, and we are gonna do the fence ourselves. And by doing that, and with the help of the club, we are able to do the 6-foot fence on the sidelines and then a permanent outfield fence for both the baseball field and the softball field. It has always been just a temporary one. Doesn't look great. We also can't use that field then for any like section games. If we ever wanted to host, we have one field to use. So it's a huge thing, and then through the clubs and some individuals, they're also donating materials and labor for dugouts. So they will be building dugouts at both of those fields as well. The only thing that kind of affects it in Dilworth is there is the old football field back there. It's only used for FM athletics now, and so starting next year, FM athletics, the games at DGF will be in Linden here because we already have the 7th and 8th grade field anyways, and so it just makes it easier. For this year, they're going to wait to put in that outfield fence in Dilworth until the FM athletics season is over. Means the games are already planned. The sticker machine. Shannon wanted me to update on this. There is one sitting out there. That's not how it would look at all. It will be DGF activities. They just dropped that off. And the plan for that with the fundraising was to have it be to help offset the cost of providing some of the team meals for activities. So it would be DGF stickers in there. It's not going to be like nail art and things like that. And then just me personally, this was obviously my first year in this role as activities director. I learned a lot. It was a busy year. It was awesome. I know we've already kind of talked about that. So I'm really looking forward to this year. Just feeling like I have my head on my shoulders a little better, but also being able to put more time into even the principal part of my job, because I felt like Joe and Kent were awesome in letting me really focus on activities, because that's where I needed to put my focus. But now, I mean, that the assistant principal is a big part of my job, probably more like should be 80%, but isn't. So looking forward to that this year. Any questions? Yes.
So for overnight stay.
Yep.
I see the 10 a.m., 6 a.m., 1
Yep.
p.m. Doesn't matter about what time they return. Does that factor into anything for an overnight stay? Meaning, example, obviously I got more ties to wrestling, so
Yeah.
there's been times when we come back at 1 o'clock in the morning,
Yeah.
give or take. I mean, that's
Yeah.
and it might not necessarily be 3 hours long, but it's something like 2, just because of how light things
Yeah.
go. Does that matter?
I guess that's something we should talk about.
For other sports too, that might
Yeah,
have.
and I mean, we do, especially like when we're going up to Thief River and Roseau and games like that, a lot of our athletes get home, you know, late, midnight or after, midnight, 2 a.m. So that's something I guess that we should maybe talk about and consider. The handbook hasn't come to you guys yet, so. And I should mention too, like, all this stuff in here is only for section travel, it wasn't about like regular season travel. Because really, there typically wouldn't probably be something like that for regular season, the getting home late though, maybe.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, just talking about, because I know we had to go do a tournament down near the cities.
Yeah.
We didn't start our last match until 9 o'clock, and it's still another hour and a half before that's done, and then half hour to clean up, try to find a gas station's open, and then we're strolling in town around 2 o'clock in the morning.
I wonder if some of that too.
Some of that may be very individualized, I get that.
Yeah, I guess my first thought on that would be, like, did they think that it would go that late? Because we probably wouldn't have planned on having hotel rooms, you know, and that makes it tricky too. Or is that like a tournament down by the cities? If it's during the week, maybe that's one we shouldn't be a part of. If it's regular season, like if it's section, you know, we don't have to say where it is or when it is, but, so that's something maybe to look at, yeah.
5 o'clock, 2 hours away against 3 other teams, and then it's gonna take an hour, hour and a half, mandatory 45-minute break in between each session, so that
Right.
adds another hour and a half on top. Like I said, that's being selfish on a wrestling. I don't know what's left here. I don't know what to go home. There's squeaky wheels, and I know I'll hear about it when somebody spits on it.
Yeah, most of the time, the idea in my previous history in other locations is always try to get them home if you can. Because it's always better to sleep at home than to, but, you know, and the other thing is, what day of the week is it, right? And if you have them stay overnight, not back to school, do they get the next day off? It's a tough one for sure. So, no, it's a good discussion for sure to discuss. But, yeah.
Thank
Good
you,
thought.
Katie, appreciate it.
My last question.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Forceful for winter sports, whether it's volleyball, basketball, whatever. Is there, maybe there's something in the handbook, and forgive me for not reading it thoroughly, but, so if they're playing something and storms come in, are they automatically spending the night, or do they still have to try to push them?
Storm? No, we communicate with them. We'll be in contact with them and they'll call. When we visit with our bus contractors, I told the bus contractors in our negotiation, if you ever feel like you can't travel, you're not traveling. Because I'm not gonna put a bus driver in that position to put when they're nervous, you stop. And so we'll figure that out. Yeah, I told them, never put yourself in danger because you don't feel you can drive. Communicate with us, let Katie know, whatever. We'll make a decision at that point. But
My head was that Pequot Lakes game and playoffs come back, that was a snowstorm coming back. 2 years ago, you might not know.
Okay.
But she was a little hairy.
Yeah, the weather, yeah.
Yeah, I guess I would tell my coaches too, like, always be in contact with me about that. The last thing we want is people driving home if it's weather, so.
Got that already.
That's fine. No, good question.
Yes.
From the physical blitz,
Yeah.
if a student goes to that, clinic,
Yep.
the forms that they fill out, do you get,
The parent needs to bring them to me.
right, do you get the sign off from the provider that, yep, they're clear, and then you hang on to the paper
Yep,
copy?
we hang on to the paper copy, we actually put it in electronically as well. And then we have a system that we enter the date.
Thank you, Katie.
Yep.
Thank you. Tracy Tellison, summer recreation report.
Alrighty. Well, I put at your desk kind of our summer recreation numbers for the summer so far. You'll see that we had 619 students that were registered for a total of 1,344 activities. So approximately 2.1 activities per student that registered. You'll overall see down below for all of our activities, kind of the numbers for each one. With this, we'll end up taking this and we'll have a more conversation with our advisory council as we look at next summer and what activities went well, and you know, if there's reduced enrollment, we'll reevaluate. One that we didn't really track numbers on was open gym. There was just so many, you know, kids coming in and out, but overall, great summer. We're very fortunate with a lot of our programming. It is a lot of volunteer coaches. We couldn't do it without them. We did have Mr. Verdi back helping out and Nathan Leitner helping out this year. So when we did have a game away, they would go away, I would go away, just so we always had someone there in the event they had any questions or anything like that. So we're very, very fortunate. Lots of volunteer coaches in the evening for our T-ball and coach pitch. I know Brittany helped out coach this year, so we appreciate all of that. Sponsorship too, one of the things that I shared even with Shannon today was when we do get sponsorship, a lot of our sponsors obviously go on the back of our shirts. This year Shields was a great sponsor. They actually gave us cash dollars along with other ones. Plus they gave us all new helmets for our youth program that we're gonna be able to use this next year. So they actually reached out and said, what can we help you with? They gave us more dollars last year. This year they gave us dollars and equipment. So just phenomenal. And it's nice because we have a lot of our parents who work in our community that work at Shields, so that's also another good thing. Transportation, try to truly watch our transportation, just the cost. Every time you roll a bus, it's dollars, but you gotta be fair and equitable with the other towns that we're going to. So working with Eileen is great, and working with Katie and the elementary also on Rebel Success to be a little bit efficient on when we run the shuttles, so that when we have an activity, it coincides with things that Katie has going on at the high school, middle school for Rebel Success extended school year, or we bring it over in the elementary too when they have it. So trying to be really efficient when it came to that. So I know the focus, a lot of it tonight was on summer rec, but I do think we just have a lot going on in the community yet. So if you don't mind if I flip the page and give you just a little update on post-prom. We'll have a post-prom meeting. I shared that with our advisory council last week. The emphasis is really to have this really be parent-led, have a lot more involvement from parents. So we'll have a meeting in August, so just so you know that that's forthcoming. Rebel Kids Care, super busy. Right now in the summer, we have 128 kids enrolled. And in the fall right now, we have 97 enrolled and 24 on the wait list. Even going through the students that we have enrolled this summer, I've emailed all of them as well to say, I know you've come to our school year program last year. I don't see that you've registered for the fall. Are you coming? And there was a lot of oh shoot. So we're getting more above and beyond that. With those numbers, I think the biggest thing for you as a board and for myself visiting with Michelle, who's our licensor for MDE, I truly have the request of you to say, I think for our licensing, it is going to be extremely, extremely difficult to staff Rebel Kids Care and meet the needs of these students. Why do I say that? We are getting every day more enrollment. What does that mean? Every individual that provides care for our program has to be background checked, fingerprinted, a lot of work. If we were short a staff member, I hate to say it, we're gonna background check Wayne and Brittany and Janet and everybody else, so that if we have a sick staff member, they all have to be background checked. So we have to get them into the classroom and help out. So in visiting with our licensor, I said, we have students that come to Rebel Kids Care after school. Our program has worked wonderful last year, K through 5. Can we do that still for this next year? Let us still allow us, because with our program being licensed, we can accept daycare assistants, and the benefit is we are certified through the state and everybody is background checked and fingerprinted. We're not going to hire staff that aren't qualified. That's what I want to emphasize. We will continue doing what we're doing, but I think we will meet the needs of 100 to, right now, we're almost sitting at 130 kids, more kids, by keep doing what we're doing and not accepting the daycare assistance. That is the big advantage for us to be certified. In talking with the licensor last week and again today was, can we just be licensed for 3rd, 4th, and 5th? Our childcare program. our true childcare program where they're gonna come to daycare, mom's gonna drop them off before she goes to work, they're gonna go to early childhood for 3 hours, they're gonna come back, take a nap, have lunch, play, and do all of that like a normal childcare center would be. For us, we will have to reevaluate in the next couple of weeks if we're gonna have to stop taking enrollment, I'll be honest, because we're not gonna be able to have the staff and meet all the guidelines that DHS is gonna require for us to be licensed K-5. We just have a lot of kids that bounce in for 15 minutes. Right now, we have 4 of our football players who are helping us enroll kids care. It has been unbelievable. I think we have right now 16 or 17 students, and we have Mrs. Bray, who's a kindergarten teacher, Carolyn Johnson, who's been with us since day 1, and we have Lexi Johnson, a special ed teacher, who's also working in enroll kids care. I would say that we probably would limit about at least 50% of our student workers by being licensed. Some of them, they're not gonna go through the effort of doing it, to get licensed, to get fingerprinted and do all this. I truly don't believe what we're doing now and what I would propose for this new year. We would continue providing the services we always do. It's just that we would not be licensed kindergarten through 5th grade. We have students that actually are going into 6th grade that we're still gonna take next year because the parents love the program. We don't wanna turn them away, they feel it's a safe place, they enjoy it. So I would say I'll have more conversation with Shannon, but my recommendation to you would be allow us to continue to be licensed 3, 4, and 5, and let us do our community ed program, after school program, K-5, how we've been doing it. Otherwise, we're gonna have, you just think if you lose a staff member, it could take us 2 weeks to get someone to replace them. Where I can truly say, hey, can you go over and fill in? They're not background checked, they can't be in that room unsupervised. So, food for thought on that, but it is going great. I mean, we love it, great staff, the students, I can't say enough good things about them. I mean, we're going to the pool every day, we go on a field trip every day. We were at Pender's Farm with half of them one day, the other half went to Skate City. Every week they're doing something. And the parents have the peace of mind knowing they're getting to baseball camp or basketball or whatever. So that is my recommendation, and you can have more conversation as a board, what you prefer to do. Early childhood, I'll end with that and just say, overall, with early childhood, I'm gonna piggyback off of what Katie said, is your handbooks will be coming to you in August. Early childhood has not presented to you in the past an early childhood policy handbook. We have one. We'll be presenting that to you in August or sharing it with you for approval. We have talked about it as a staff within the early childhood group. They've looked at it. If they have any other tweaks or changes, I told them to just let me know by this Friday. As we go about with early childhood, I always say change sometimes goes well, or sometimes we have little bumps in the road, and we just try to be clear with our communication, be it internal or external. One thing I try to do is just email the staff periodically, or we meet in person, but we've gone over a lot of things, from making sure our staff know, Brittany and I were talking a little bit before the meeting, our staff are aware of when their prep time is, when their lunch is, we're being mindful of that. Right now, we have been in communications. Early childhood staff are going to take part in everything a licensed teacher does. They're going to be involved with workshops. Paras are going to be involved with workshops. If the topic doesn't pertain to early childhood, we will have another component for them at that time to work on, or work in their rooms and things like that. One thing, Kristen Cadry, who's an early childhood special education teacher, she is in charge, per the state's requirements, overseeing screenings and state reports. Her and I collaborate on pretty much everything, but overall she helps with that. We already have the screenings for 3, 4, and 5-year-olds. out to the community to say, if your child hasn't been screened, the sooner you get them screened, the more dollars the state, the school gets. So we're trying to get them screened early, and we have a sign up for all families that they can do that. We'll continue to share that out. We are really emphasizing early childhood being another, I call it another grade level in our elementary. So Wayne and Brittany and the elementary team are really working hard on including and incorporating them in everything. Because sometimes the early childhood might have been in their own little bubble. Now we're making sure anything with staff meetings or anything that relates to the elementary, they are included. They have shared with me their request for supplies. We're going through those. I've asked them to prioritize those items and just get them back to me by the end of the week, just so that we can kind of make sure that we're getting the things that we need. As Roseanne left, some of the items that we did have were some items she bought personally. So some of those items we have to replace to continue doing that. We are rolling out a new screening tool that will, in our mind, be a little bit more efficient. Brigance is the screening tool that Kristen and the staff and Kayla and Nancy in the health aid office are going to work with this year. So there will be continued training and going over and observing also at Moorhead. There is a new curriculum. Early childhood has not had a curriculum before. With the support of the school board and Shannon, we were able to purchase a curriculum. The last 2 weeks, the early childhood teachers have participated in training online, virtual training, 2 weeks this summer, 2 weeks next summer. So it's just, a lot of it is focused on, instead of a teacher getting up there and instructing and providing instruction to a student, a lot of the concepts are student-led. So the student usually is driving almost the direction of how the day will go. Instead of saying, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this, and we're gonna do this, it's more open-ended on encouraging them to get involved in decision-making and social-emotional and things like that. So that they participated in, and we're excited to see where that goes. One thing we haven't done is we created a packet for all of our families that are joining early childhood. They'll be getting this mailed out to them after the school board approves the handbook, and they'll get this, and this goes over the school supply list, it goes over our screening process, it goes over our handbook, school calendar, everything will be in there, and they'll have this, and this will also be available online for them. Conferences, just like I say, anything related to elementary, we will do too. We will have conferences, we will, they'll be able to go out there and sign up. So just really getting them involved. Payments, avoiding any teacher collecting a check for early childhood. All of it will be run through Right Wheel. Sarah will do all the billing for early childhood, just like we do for Rebel Kids Care. So we're excited, a lot going on, but I'll be also, available if you ever have any questions on Rebel Kids Care, if it's later tonight or tomorrow or whenever. But that's just my thought. I just think we need to service as many kids as we can. A lot of families need childcare, and what we have, I think, is works. So, any questions?
Thanks, Tracy, appreciate it, thank you. All right, board committee reports, policy committee.
It's you, Micah.
You're there.
Yeah, well, our policy that we met, we had a few people that were not able to attend, so it was very kind of short and sweet with Mike and I, and we just went over a few of the things, a lot of them, and there was no changes. No changes to the ones we were gonna look at. The issues that came up are, like today we talked a little bit, and I was gonna talk about it in my report, about one of the policies in particular. We just have a lot of policies coming down the stretch here that are because of new legislation. And so we'll have to get into that too. But yeah, it was everything that we looked at, there were no changes. Right? And, you know, Benny too, we talked about that after, that they were pretty much just review. They were, MSB didn't have any recommendations to make changes, so.
Okay. Awesome. Personnel committee. Just for negotiations.
Yes, I mean, I think right now with certified staff and, you know, our goal is to get it done as soon as possible, before the start of school.
A very positive meeting. We're meeting again tonight after the board meeting, so discussions are going very well, so continue to work on that. Let's do budget, because we just did it. We're gonna have that budget committee, because it's fresh in our mind. We met this evening at 5 o'clock, so David, go ahead.
Sure, so, we went over the construction budget. Right now, Shannon met with Minco. We've got about $380,000 left in the bank. It's a little bit difficult right now to say how much will be over, or if it will be over, based on settlements and that sort of thing. So, it's hard to guess, but, I think, you know, we're probably looking at $300,000 to $600,000, somewhere in that range, but that's going to change. Next, we looked at the fiscal year 24 budget. That's just work going on at all the time. Shannon went over some of the, for the state legislature, some of the different funding packages that affect us. We probably came out, we're just pretty close to average. You know, some rural schools better. It's nice to see that some of the suburban schools down by Minneapolis did in the lion's share. They were a little below average, so I think we came out okay, but there's going to be a lot of changes, things that aren't necessarily funded. I think once it was funded. So, building and grounds director, I don't necessarily want to take away the thunder, so yes, that's what Shannon's going to talk about that. Fiscal year 2024 snack fee. Right now, the wellness committee is going to meet on this, but right now they're going to find a different way to supply a snack, do it a different way, and so we're going to eliminate that fee schedule from our schedule. So more to come on this. They're looking into this. How can we get the snacks to the kids? And so we don't end up with a huge deficit in this program. If you recall, I think it was about $40,000 for the last year deficit. ESSER funds, the ESSER funds. We spent $685,000 on last year's budget. If you recall, sort of an accounting issue in 22, where the money was not allocated, the funds were not allocated in that year, and so we had a bit of a deficit. We added that back in, so that chunk is about $300,000 over that. That's going to go towards construction. So, as per the statute, we will have that money spent as required by fall of 2024, I think is better. All right, and then we talked a little bit about LTFM, long-term facility maintenance things. So we had some issues. We're looking at if you recall, we had bonded. The bond was about $9 million. The idea was money that we normally would have got from LTFM was going to go to pay towards the bond, and then we were able to use that funds in year one for the construction project. Some of the coding on that was off related to the bond, but it's all straightened out thanks to our cracks crew and so it's a testament. Everyone should get more sleep. Anyway, but anyway, we've got the coding straightened out, so that's pretty good. Right now, the status for LTFM is we have about $625,000 currently towards LTFM, and we'll roughly get about $130,000 a year until 2031, and that's going to go up considerably to about $307,000. So the idea behind the bond was to make sure that thought is if we do the upgrades, that we won't have as much long-term maintenance required. And so hopefully we'll have fewer issues over the next 10 years, but we know just even on new construction, you can have issues, so it does happen. And we are going to approve the 10-year plan for the LTFL. So.
Yeah, you covered it.
Nice job.
Nice job. Any questions on budget? Great, moving on, 6.5, superintendent report.
What David said, no.
Yeah.
No. Policy, the only reason I put policy on there is that, obviously, again, legislators have quite a few new, I guess I'll say, things that the legislators passed that affect many policies, and it's creating new policy, and so MSBA is sending us, they're not even up to date yet with all the new policies, so it's, they're telling us you're gonna send them as they get them solved and figured out to make sure their legal team has looked at them, make sure that our policies are safe to implement, and they follow the new legislation, so it's quite a bit. You'll see that tonight as we have to pass, or at least the resolution is to approve, I don't know, 15 or 20 of them tonight. In September, we're probably gonna have closer to 25 or 30. And it's just, it is what it is. One of the things that we talked about today is policy 507 and corporal punishment and prone restraint. This is a little adjustment too from the new legislation that we did have some discussion today on whether or not we should implement it the way it's written. And so we're gonna have to have some discussion, and I think that's one of them in tonight's that we should table. So policy 507, as part of our resolution tonight, I believe it's one we need to table, so the policy committee can review that more in depth. That is really the only one that jumped out. Oh, take that back. There's another, I'm sorry, no, I just lost it. There's another policy. Student dress and appearance. I have not had an opportunity to visit with the principals about this. There's new legislation here too. And until I can meet with the admin team and really dial that in and make sure we have what we feel is best for our school. So I'd like to table 504 as well. And the other one that I sent out to you guys, policy committee meeting was the 509.1, the out-of-state tuition. All we've done with that, just so everybody's aware, is we take the new basic formula from the state, 7138, and then we do that 1.2 because a high school student. And I have it written down somewhere, 85, 65, 60. So an out-of-state person that comes to, so that happens to us here with some Fargo students, their tuition would be $8,565.60. That is prorated off the state basic formula. So that change is in that out-of-state tuition, so we're good to pass that if you're okay with those numbers. Really all we do with that every year is just update the numbers. So hopefully that works. So that's policy. There's just a lot going on. So the policy committee, I did consider today sending you an email to say, should we meet again? You know, September 11th is our next policy meeting, and I was wondering if we shouldn't meet before that, but we can talk about that later, and I can send a message out to you and see if we need to. There's just a lot going on, and I don't know if we want to break it down a little bit more or not. So anyway, something to think about. Snack fee, the wellness committee did meet. I think there's been a fair amount of communication, and maybe even still today. I just think the school, and it was, and David said 40,000, the actual number is 60. The updated number was 60,000 that we've invested into it, and it's time for a change. And I think we want to work with the wellness committee. We want to make sure that our kids get what they need, but we just want them to come up with another solution, and I think that's what's getting worked out, I hope.
And we did meet on Friday. Katie and I and Brittany met with UC Hope. And the thought was UC Hope, the goal would be to encourage the families to send their own snacks. But for those students that don't have a snack, UC Hope would actually put boxes of snacks in the Rebel Hope chest.
Every teacher.
Every
to
teacher would
start
get
the
one
year will
box.
have a box
Yep.
to start. So
Yep.
it'll just be a quick
Yep, they can
handout.
come in and grab and take it back so that each student has one, so anything else?
I just think it's just it's a system we had to at least investigate or try, and we can evaluate again after this next year and so on. If it needs to change or whatever, then we can. But it's, I think it's time to at least look into another option, so. Building and grounds director, so Chase, I think now has met everybody here. Chase came tonight. We're just really excited, had plenty of time to, obviously Tracy and I interviewed, and then Chase came back and did a little walk through both buildings, spent an afternoon with them. He's already been back here a handful of times, just asking questions and seeing facilities, which I really appreciate and see. So there's gonna be a transition if everything goes well tonight for him, from the board perspective. That's why he wanted to be here too, so you get to meet him. So I appreciate that, Chase, and for you being here. So, yeah, just excited. Him and Tracy will have some time to set up, so for our custodians to meet him. Our maintenance team has met with him. And just, there's just a lot going on that he's gonna have to evaluate with these two teams and bring them together and unify them. And I'm excited about what that's gonna look like for all of us. I think it's a win for our activities, our community ed, and I hope those people, our custodians and our maintenance guys, to have support and have somebody to be a voice for them and to come alongside them. So just really excited about that for our district. Then I had, before I get into my schedule, I'll be out this Thursday and Friday. I just wanted to remind you guys of that I'll be out. But before we're done, I do want to talk the strategic plan. I brought a copy of it's not totally updated yet, but I just wanted to show you tonight what our admin team, directors and principals and whatnot have been working on. Brooke and I worked on district office things too and what needs to happen. So I want to share it with you, if you want to take a look at what we've done. I printed in color because remember, color is going to be kind of driving it. I'm hoping to meet with the district leadership team. I did not send the email out yet. I will this week. If we can meet on the 29th or 30th, what day might work best for them. I know that's a Tuesday or Wednesday, but it's during workshop time. So staff would be back too, so I'm hoping we can make something work at 7 in the morning and meet. We'll see, because I want to have it pretty much ready so I can show them and have them look at it, go through it, and to reassure them that the votes that they put on the board that we talked about as a school board, here's where they are on the priorities. We might have renamed them, but those bullets that got all the votes are represented here. And I want them to see that and then show them what we're planning to do with that and how we're going to move on. So one of the things you'll notice when we put it on the website, there's going to be a fair amount of links. And it's a link to a list of things. For example, staff development. Well, what's the staff development plan? Well, we're not going to put the whole plan on here, but there's going to be a link, click it, and it brings you to that. A link of community partners. So community ed has community partners, sponsors, whatever. We're not going to list them all but you can click on it and there's your list. It's the same with the school. So those that we have as community partners, we can create lists in the elementary, middle school, high school, and so on. So I want it to be a one-stop shop. That's how it becomes a living, breathing document that we constantly evaluate and it doesn't go away. And that's what I think is important to improve our school and our departments. So it makes us all accountable and super transparent for our communities. So that's that. And then again, I'm just going to be out Thursday, Friday to work on the street. No, I'm not. I've got a different plan. I'm hoping it's called fishing. So anyway, questions for me?
All right, thank you, Shannon. All right, moving on to 7.1, this is the approval of our regular meeting on July 12th. We have a motion.
So moved.
Motion by, was that Brittany?
Nicole.
We have a second? Second by David. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Consent agenda, claims and accounts, Laura. All right, also included is our monthly budget report. Oh my gosh, nothing else, all right. I did look at this, I'm like, whoa. Do we have a motion? So moved. Motion by Amy, is there a second? Second. Second by Laura, any questions or discussion? Hearing no questions or discussion, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. New and unfinished business, 9.1, this is the extended day field trip sponsored by the PCN grant for 10 middle school / high school students. Do we have a motion? So moved. Motion by Nicole, is there a second? Second. I got Mike over here. Any questions or discussion?
How many staff?
And I said 10 students. There's usually been 2, it's the 2 Rise Club advisors. Oh, okay. Thanks, yeah.
Good question.
Any other questions or discussion?
Is this with other schools, do we know?
Yeah. It's like all the schools that have the grant in, probably none of them, it's just Minnesota, but.
Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 9.2, this is for the 2023-24 fees. This is the approve the second reading. Let's get a motion in a second, and then we'll have discussion. Do a motion? I got David, Amy, you want a second? Second. Oh, got her over here. Thank you though, Brittany.
Sorry.
Oh, you're good, you're good. So if you guys pull up your fee schedule, you'll see in the green highlighted the snack program has been removed. Moving down to substitute from the last time, we are moving our substitute teacher pay from $130 up to $150 and a half day from previously 65 to 75. Early childhood, you can see in the green there, the tots and school readiness, Rebel Kids Care, those are highlighted, and then the change in activities, and we've removed the event supervisor and the Minnesota High School League Coordinator Supervisor, the cost there, nothing on the back. Is there any discussions or questions? We have Tracy's here, she can answer the early childhood if anybody has anything. Any questions? We have a motion by David, a second by Amy. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. 9.3, this is our resolution for the 10-year long-term facility maintenance revenue and expenditure projection plan is presented. Amy's gonna read we'll do a motion. Motion by David, is there a second? Second. Second by Nicole. All right, floor is yours, Amy.
Member David Eilertson moved the following resolution approving annual long-term facilities maintenance and plan. Whereas a regularly scheduled meeting of the School Board of Independent School District 2164 was held at the DGF Community Room, Clinton at 6 o'clock p.m. July 24, 2023. Whereas pursuant to Minnesota statute section 123B.595, all public schools are required to annually update their district long-term facility maintenance 10-year plan and submit the board-approved plan to the Minnesota Department of Education. Be it resolved by the School Board of Independent School District number 2164, Dilworth, Clinton, Felton as follows. 1, the board hereby approves the revised district long-term facilities maintenance 10-year plan. And 2, the clerk is authorized to direct and submit a copy of the adopted resolution to the Minnesota Department of Education as soon as reasonably practicable after its adoption, but in no event later than July 31st, 2023. The motion for the adoption of the resolution was duly seconded by member Nicole Rito. On a roll call vote, the following members voted in favor.
All right, so we'll do a resolution vote. Laura? David?
Yeah.
Amy? Aye. Myself, aye. Nicole? Aye. Brittany? Aye. Micah? All right, resolution carries 7-0. 9.4, this is a second reading of the following policies. 101, legal status of the school district. 101.1, name of the school district. 103, complaint students, employees, parents, other persons. 104, school district mission statement. 201, legal status of the school board. 202, school board officers. 203, operation of the school board. 203.1, school board procedures. Do we have a motion? Got Amy here, do we have a second? Second. Second by Brittany. Any further questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right, policy policies, we are going to, I'll read through them. We are going to table off this list 504, student dress and appearance, and we are going to table 507, corporal punishment and prone restraint. We will be approving the first and only reading of the following policies. 102, equal education opportunity. 413, harassment and violence. 418, drug-free workplace, drug-free school. 419, tobacco-free environment. 424, license status. 506, student discipline. 509, enrollment of non-resident students. 509.1, out-of-state tuition as presented by Superintendent Hunstead. This is $8,565.60. This is prorated off the state formula. 509.2, open enrollment lottery process. 513, student promotion, retention, and program design. 514, bullying prohibition policy. 516.5, overdose medication. 522, Title IX, sex, non-discrimination policy, grievance procedure and process. And 524, internet acceptable use policy. Do we have a motion? Motion by Nicole, is there a second? Second by Laura. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, 9.6, this is fundraisers. In your packet, let's get a motion in a second and then we'll do discussion. We have a motion? Motion by Laura, is there a second? Second. Second by Nicole over here. It is in your packet here. So everybody can review that, please, and if there's any questions or discussion.
One question about the sticker machines, like, so how much do we make off of that? I mean, what percentage do you know?
So Brittany, John sent me some stuff on, the sticker machines. So she said it's a great and easy way to fundraise. Our PBIS shirts cost $1,500, and in 2 months, the machine has already raised close to $300. So, she also wanted to point out students can only access the machine before school and after school. Teachers that are at the last leadership committee were asked what they thought of them. None of them brought up any issues. Custodial, there have not been any stickers on the stalls or lockers.
So it must be the elementary one, and then this other one is what's used for the.
And this would just be during activities, because no one comes right here in the day, I mean, seniors, juniors and seniors, but they're not.
I'm not buying stickers,
Sure.
the
I mean,
kids.
well, you never know.
So, that's what I got for you on that.
Okay. But it's all gonna be Rebel stuff now, from here on out. It's gonna be Rebel stuff.
Yeah.
He'll replace that.
Here, I don't know about Brittany, but here it's Rebel, it'll be Rebel everything, yeah.
Two different sticker machine on here even, two completely different sticker fundraisers.
Yes.
Yes. So one will still be the same in elementary and you'll have a different one here.
Any other questions on any of the fundraisers on here? All right, we have a motion and we have a second. Any further discussion or questions? All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. 9.7, this is a non-certified contract for Sarah Daniels, Title I paraprofessional, Class 2, Step 5, effective the start of the 23-24 school year. Do we have a motion? Motion by David. Is there a second? Second over here by Brittany. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. 9.8, this is a certified contract for Molly Wilson, elementary teacher, MA +10, Step 9, effective the start of the 23-24 school year. Do we have a motion? So moved. Motion by Amy, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Brittany. Any questions or discussion?
Preschool. Oh, no.
she's
Oh,
kindergarten.
no, sorry. That's the other one. My bad.
Kindergarten.
Molly is the extra kindergarten that we just added. Yep. Sorry, Molly.
So this will bring us to how many sections, kindergarten? 6?
7.
7.
That's kind of what we're looking at.
Any further discussion or questions?
Right, Nicole?
Yes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 9.9, this is a certified contract for Nicole Kittleson, early childhood teacher / floating substitute. BA step 1, effective the start of the 23-24 school year. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Nicole, is there a second?
Second.
I got Micah down there. Any questions or discussion?
This is the preschool one.
Preschool, so will she float?
Yep, she'll be a part of the preschool program that, so Kelly works her 3
Yep.
days, and now Nicole will take those other 2.
Okay.
And then she'll sub the other days for us in the district.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, any further questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 9.10, bus contracts. This is to approve the FY 24-25 bus contracts. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
We've got Nicole here. David, you want to second that? Any further questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you to the board members that did work on that transportation one. I know that was a lot of work for you guys, so thank you. 9.11, confidential contract for Chase Johansson, Building and Grounds Director, effective August 1st, 2023. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Nicole. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Laura. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Welcome, Chase. Okay, so next board meeting is Monday, August 14th at 6 p.m. in the community room. David's going to be leading you for that meeting. I will be in Spain. So, bummer. So thank you, David. Personnel committee will meet following that in the community room. As Shannon said, he's going to reach out to the policy committee to communicate about those upcoming. And then I think Shannon and I will have a discussion, since the strategic plan's kind of coming together, maybe we could have like a work session one night, maybe after a board meeting for like an hour, just to kind of go over the details and review that. So we'll have some discussion about that. But anything else, team? Anything else we got to schedule or talk about? All right, 7:02, meeting adjourned. All right.
Welcome, Chase.
Thank you.